Hi, it's Chef Rick and today I'm making chili. Okay, so we're going to start making this chili or chili con carne by chopping a red pepper. And the best way to chop a pepper, first thing to do, chop off the top, and you'll see that the stalk bit just falls out, or you might have to sometimes like just pop that out with your finger. Well, let's chop off the top, chop off the bottom, and then the middle has got the core with the seeds inside, so just simply run a knife around the outside there and remove the core. And this next bit is purely for the sake of this video. You would not really need to do this bit, especially as it's going into a chili, but if you want to remove those little white bits of flesh, just run a knife along the back there. And I'm just showing you how to, if you are harvesting a chili and you want a pepper and you want it to absolutely make it perfect, you can do that as well. Just remove those little veins, but there's no need at all, especially as it's going in a chili, like I said. That is a pepper, kind of with all the bits that you don't want removed. Now what I will do to make cubes, as we do with anything when we're making cubes, I'm taking that centre bit and I'm making it first of all into chips or sticks or julienne, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to take each of those sticks, turn them sideways on and chop down. Like that. And we're going to get lovely little tiny cubes of red pepper. Just like that. Likewise with the top and the bottom, just slice them lengthways and then take each of the long lengths or chips and then chop them sideways on to make the little cubes. And once you learn to chop a pepper that way, well, you'll do it every single time. It's super easy. But yeah, that is how you chop a red pepper. And there it is, the red pepper ready to go. Onion. I know we can't do a video where we don't chop an onion, so why break the habit of a lifetime? First thing we do is chop off the top. And then we're going to chop through the root but keep the root intact. Peel it. And you're left with 2 halves of onion with the root intact. So there's no tears, no nothing. You're going to chop down through the onion all the way to the chopping board but not touching the root, so that in theory you could pick it up and fan it like this. I'm only doing that for the sake of the video. You never need to do that in real life. And then chop down against the grain. And look what you get. Lovely, beautiful little pieces of onion. This is going into a big pot. This is going into a chili or chili con carne, so you don't need to be as pretty and precious as I've been here, but sod it. Vegetable oil into your largest pan. In with the red peppers. You want to cook that just until it starts to soften, so maybe for about 4 minutes or so before you add the onion. And then let those peppers and onions cook together, again, probably about 10-15 minutes. You want them just really nice and soft. This is not a dish you can rush at all. This is a midweek tea, this one, but really I'm going to show you how you can kind of tart it up a little bit. In goes some beef mince. And the beef mince goes in. We put a lid on the pan if you've got one, just because it keeps the heat in, and we just want to brown that. This is good quality. This is steak mince, so in theory you could eat it like raw like that, but you want to brown it. You want to get it just see like that. So that meat has just been browned, so it's all kind of cooked through. To which now we add paprika, chili powder, cumin, and oregano. That's the base for any chili. So if you put those ingredients together, if you put those spices together and smelt them, it would smell just like a chili. Which sounds like I'm saying something really obvious there, but you think, no, just don't buy a pre-made chili con carne powder, because it's dead expensive, and all it is those three spices mixed together: paprika, chili, and cumin. I add the oregano just because it's a touch I like to do. I use some fresh chilies as well. You can add anything to this. You can throw in anything you want. If you just kept it with the spices we've already added, it's still going to taste great. But this is where you can start adding your own little bit of flair, however you like it. Add the hottest chilies you want, add 10 times more garlic than I've added if you want, but I've just added 4 cloves of garlic there. So I'm going to chop thin, because this is going to cook all day, and I want those to stay as like pieces of garlic. I don't want them to turn into mush. I want to be able to enjoy those later. So in go those garlic pieces. On a fresh chili earlier. Cans of tomatoes, 2 cans of tomatoes. Just canned chopped tomatoes. And then take the can, the empty can, and fill it with tap water. So put 2 cans of water in there. Again, all the quantities will be in the description below. Give that a nice stir around. There's those fresh chilies that we chopped earlier. And they were just some ancho chili flakes. So that's like a smoked chili flake. I just had them in the kitchen, so why not? It's quite a Mexican thing as well. But again, like I say, anything at this point is just flair. You don't need to add any of this. Beef stock pots. Put 2 of those beef stock pots in. And some dark chocolate if you've got it. Some recipes will call to add each of these things kind of at later stages and at half-hour intervals. In my opinion, I like to put everything in at the beginning and let it all marinate and come together. Drained cans of kidney beans. These were kidney beans in water, so I drained them. Sometimes if they're in a chili sauce, I'll leave them. So look at that, it's nearly 1 o'clock. We put this on. So put a lid on there, put it on a nice low heat. Putting the lid on allows it to cook nicely, but you're not going to lose too much of the steam. So it's not going to thicken up, but it's going to cook really well. So you can see right now, look at that, it's like really thin. It's like a big soup. And that's because we've been cooking it low with the lid on. As soon as you want to start thickening this, then start to cook it with the lid off, like we're doing now. So we just leave it on a nice low heat. It's now 6. What time did I put that one on? 1. So it's like been 5 and a bit hours of just really, really low cooking. And look at it, just beautiful. It smells amazing. Keep tasting it, of course, keep testing it. And it's funny because every time you test it, it just keeps tasting more and more like chili. You can taste it's just got more and more kind of concentrated in its flavour. Add some salt at this point. I've never had any black pepper to this one, just salt, but at that stage is when I'm going to season it. That to me is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful chili. And you just leave that now. Leave that on the stove on the lowest heat possible, and it'll just find itself. We're going to tart this up ever so slightly, like I said earlier. So we're going to serve it with a homemade guacamole. To make guacamole, you'll see here, first thing we do is get an avocado, run a knife around the outside, chop inside to get rid of that seed. And then you can just peel an avocado because this is going to get mashed up anyway. So just peel off the outside. There goes an avocado. So we're going to use 2 in total. Fresh lime juice. And I always just mash them up with my hands. It's what they do in Mexico. So I think, well, I'm going to do it as well. If you're fussy and you don't want to use your hands or get your hands dirty, just mash these up with a fork. But you never get them as smooth and as nice as you can with your hand. So I just mash up those avocado and lime together. Clean hands, obviously. Yeah. In goes chopped garlic. Chopped red chili, de-seeded. White onion, uncooked, chopped and minced. And chopped tomatoes. And also coriander as well. Chopped coriander. Give that all a mix round. Test it. What's it need? Salt. Avocado needs lots of salt and pepper, you'll find. But never guess. Always taste it. Taste it and see how much you need. But yeah, salt and pepper, of course. And that to me is a guacamole. Goes with everything. Absolutely delicious. Don't worry about keeping it. It won't last 2 minutes in a house, a bowl of guacamole like that. I'm also going to make a pico de gallo. Pico de gallo is the most refreshing little extra you can have. So we've got some minced and chopped onions. That's a jalapeno. So we're just going to take a jalapeno chili with all the seeds inside because it's not really that powerful, this one. And we're just going to chop it like we do with garlic, back and forth, back and forth. No real technique, just time, patience, and a bit of effort. Just keep working it, left, right, bringing it back together. And that is how you finally chop anything. In this case, a jalapeno. So we've got the jalapeno, the onion, and we're adding some fresh lime juice to that. Give that a good mix round. And then let that sit in the fridge for about half an hour to an hour. Just let that marinate. Do that first thing in the morning and then come to the rest of it later on in the day. Now we're going to chop tomatoes, or we just want the outside of the tomato. So the first thing we do, or I will do, is use a knife. Take out the little stem. Chop the thing in half. And then this is a blunt knife. This is not one of my good knives. Don't use a really sharp knife at that stage. You'll do what you want, but be very careful. I use a blunt knife because it does the job perfectly, and if I do slip or mess up and go straight into my finger, everyone's fine. But that is the tomato skins, of which, just like whenever we chop anything into cubes, we chop them first lengthways, and we chop each of those lengths the other way around, so you get nice little cubes of tomato. And it's exactly the same way that those tomatoes that went into the guacamole were made. But because the Pico de Gallo is it's really visible, it's not like the guacamole that's a mess. This other one that we're making, this is really, really clear. So take some time, to chop things finely and make them look pretty, because it's only going to please you guessed at the end. So there's the jalapeno, onion and lime mix that's been marinating, to which we're going to add those nicely, beautifully cubed tomatoes. Salt. Give those a really good mix round. Coriander. I only would remove with coriander the biggest, heaviest of the stalks. Everything else is absolutely fine to go in. So take a bunch of coriander and just chop down into it this way. Keep going down until you get to the very, very stalky bits down at the bottom, and just get rid of those. And then, like we did with the jalapeno, like we do with garlic, like we do with anything that you want, just chop into it left, right, work across with a knife. There's no trick, there's no technique, it's just time and patience. Just going to chop really finely into that. So there's your coriander all chopped. By the way, I know a lot of people might watch this. Oh, I hate coriander. I used to despise coriander. But get it in an ingredient like this, in a dish like this, where all the different ingredients kind of bounce off each other. The onion, the tomato, the jalapeno. You want it there. You wouldn't want it without it. But that is pretty much Pico de Gallo. Just look at that. Really, really fresh, super clean. Cuts through the hot chili. Yeah, amazing. White rice, I just use boiling a bag rice. For all my chefing expertise, I'm terrible at cooking rice, so I just use these boiling a bag rice and they do the job. Don't worry, I will learn how to cook rice and do a video properly. So you've got your white rice, some of that absolutely beautiful slow cooked chili. I use a corn tortilla there that I've just warmed in the oven slightly so I can fold it slightly. Some of the Pico de Gallo there. Finally filling that space with some of that guacamole, and that is chili. That's again a little sour cream on the top. That's a midweek tea that's been tarted up to the nines. It's amazing, it's delicious, it's beautiful. I really hope you make it. I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.